How you doing, guys? Malik over at Modern Pond. If you've watched any of my other videos on fishing for trophy trout, fishing with croaker, you'll see that I recommend fishing bait casters if you know how to use a bait caster. If you're new to bait casters or you have trouble with your bait casters, I'm going to give you some tips on how to get these guys adjusted so that you're not making a mess and backlashing and spending time picking out knots and spending more time fishing. Real quick, let's go over some of the anatomy of a bait casting reel. First thing you want to do is set the drag on the reel. You don't want the drag so hard that the line buries into the spool when you pull drag, okay? If you have the drag cranked down so hard that when you pull on this, you can physically see that line like trying to bury itself into the spool, all that's going to do is going to cause random hard hitting backlashes. You need to make sure that your line is not burying into the spool when you pull any line out. Next thing we're going to look at is we have two types of casting controls on almost every bait caster I've ever seen. There's going to be a spool side pressure friction cast control, which is normally the knob over on this side. On the other side, there will either be some sort of knob or dial, or on the Shimano line of reels, there is a little door that opens up, and there is these little weights, these little pink plastic brakes that control the braking of the spool via centrifugal pressure. So the high-speed brake. This is the high-speed centrifugal brake. This is the side pressure friction control brake on this side right here. The basics of adjusting this is you want to start, if you've never fished the reel before, or you got a new combo, or you got a bait that you're not familiar throwing, or you don't have a starting point, generally what I recommend, open that reel up, turn all 6 brakes on, or however many brakes are on there. And the difference is that right there is off. That brake is off. You pull it until it clicks. Now that brake is on. It can engage that raceway inside there. So what you want is all 6 of these guys, all 6 of them on. Start with all 6 on, and you close the reel up, and you're going to want to take the side spool pressure and turn it up so that when, like, say I have this as, I don't know, maybe a 1/4 ounce of weight. If I was to drop this weight, it doesn't even let any line out. Too much side pressure. Back it off just a touch, and I mean a touch, like maybe a 1/16 of a turn. You see how it let it out, but it didn't overrun the spool? That's about where you want to start. Just enough pressure where the weight does not, when it's falling, does not cause the reel to backlash. Now if I was to do that same thing and back it out too much, you see how it backlashed and it only went from here to there? Not enough side pressure, okay? So you want to have it so that dropping that weight does not cause the spool to overrun as your starting point. You want the drag to be loose enough where it's not going to bury into your line, and you want all 6 brakes on. From that point, you are going to reduce the amount of braking that you use in the reel to get farther casts. If I was to go cast this like this right now, I probably couldn't cast it very far at all. It wouldn't backlash on me, but I couldn't cast it. Alright guys, what you're going to want to do with all 6 brakes on and a good amount of side friction spool pressure is cast whatever you're casting. Top water, soft plastic, an average size croaker. If your reel wants to backlash at the front of the cast, here's you and your boat, and it wants to cast somewhere right here, it starts to want to backlash, at the front of your cast, backlash means you need more break. Okay, you're swinging hard enough that you're spinning the spool up too fast, too quick, and you need more break. Okay, if it's backlashing at the end of your cast or towards as it's coming into the water and it's wanting to overrun the spool, you normally need more side plate friction. Okay, the knob next to the drag on the side. So if it's backlashing here, side friction. If it's backcasting here, more brake weight. Okay, I like to fish it with very little thumb control. I don't like using my thumb to feather it and try and get it to not to backlash. I like to have the reel where it casts well on its own, and you can get them set where they cast pretty well on their own without having to use your thumb to give it cast control with your thumb. The other thing is, the more wind that you have coming at you, the more side control that you need. The side friction plate is where it's going to help cause the wind from not backlashing your reel. So start with 6, pull out a brake, cast it again. If it still seems to be casting short and you don't feel like the reel's wanting to backlash, take out one more brake, try it again. Spend 3-4 minutes casting and getting that reel adjusted the way you like it, and then where it doesn't backlash on you. And sometimes what happens is you go from a soft plastic to top water. You might want to click on a couple more brakes when you change that bait out. They're fast, easy to do. All these controls, you can do them on the fly, no tools necessary. They work really well, and they're going to help you. The 3 minutes you spent adjusting your reel is going to save you 15 minutes of picking out a backlash. So that's my tip for adjusting your bait casting reels. This is Malik Afram over at Modern Pond. Check us out at modernpondandguns.com. Thank you guys for watching my videos. Stay safe.